So hi, in this video I want to talk to you about how to build your own CDN application using the AWS service. We're going to use Cloudfront and then the S3 bucket to storing all of the static asset. The reason I want to build this application was because the CDN is the most popular useful thing when it comes to the web, because most of the time we want to store many of the static asset of our website to somewhere else and then serving it really fast through a CDN service. Let's say that we're gonna build it in AWS because AWS is actually much more cheaper than any other services. I used Cloudinary a lot. It has a generous free tier, of course, but when my application want to scale, when I reach a certain quota, it becomes more expensive than using the AWS Cloudfront. So it was a bit nicer to set up the Cloudfront from now. So that was why I want to build it for you and then for myself. Another thing is I'm going to build this application using the NextJS and then the SST to provision all of the resources on AWS. So I think that was pretty nice for you and me to learn something cool about the SST and then the infrastructure as code tool. So for the structure of our application, we're gonna use the AWS service, the AWS Cloudfront, to serving all of the images on S3 bucket. When I say images, I mean all of the static asset. That means font, video, icon, yeah. And then we actually need an application to show all of the static assets we have on the S3 bucket, and then we will need another function to upload this static asset to S3 and get the CDN URL of any asset we store on the S3. Another thing is we need an authentication logic, because we only need, not everyone in the internet can access to our application. Maybe only me, only you, or someone else you want to give the access to. So that's why we need all of those functions, and then with those functions we need to build a real application using some kind of framework, and I'm choosing NextJS in this example because I'm familiar with it, and I think that most of you guys does. So for the NextJS application, we'll have the access to the Cloudfront and then the S3 to give us all of the function above. And I'm actually already building this application, so I'm gonna walking with you guys through the demo of what I did and how I did it. So this is the application I've built. The first thing is we can upload any images we want to the CDN, and then bang, it was here. We could grab the URL of the CDN, this one right here. It actually download my images. I don't know why, but usually it will show the image on the browser right away. We can delete any image that we don't need anymore. Yes. And then it actually have the authentication function, but in this case has already signed in. So let's say that I'm open on a browser. Yes, actually we need to I'm not really remember it, and I'm storing all of the credential on a static file because we don't need to have a complicated logic of the authentication logic in here, right? And then after login, it will redirect me to the dashboard page. Yes, That's it. So how I make this application? The first thing I want to point out is that we will build from the infrastructure first, as what I described in here. We will define all of the resources we deploy to AWS in this SST config.ts file. The first thing is the S3 bucket with the public access to chew, because we want to upload the image from client. So that's why we need to enable the public access. And then the next thing is actually this one is the router, but the underlying resources is the CloudFront. And then we will map all of the request to the S3 resources that was defined in this block here. The next thing is the NextJS application, and then we will link this one to the S3 bucket, and then for the environment we let all the bucket URL and then the CloudFront URL. The next thing I want to talk to you guys how the logic working. The delete function, just the delete command, and then I'm using the information about the bucket to delete a specific images. And then for the get request, I'm gonna get all of the static asset of the S3 bucket, and then return the CDN URL to the client. For upload image, actually we have to use a special mechanism, because usually we can upload the asset from directly from the server to the S3 bucket using the S3 credential. But since we want to upload the image from the client, we cannot do that. We have to use the sign URL. Actually, for sign URL, we will create a special URL specifically to upload the image to the S3 bucket, and then we return it to the client, and then the client will use this URL to upload the image directly. And then there's expired time in here. Yeah, that's all. That's what I did with the backend. And for the front end, that's actually pretty easy. For like get all image, I will access this one. For the another thing is upload image. Yes, this one is for state, for the loading state. And then I will upload each of the image to the backend in here. This one is actually getting the sign URL, and then when we have the URL, we will upload this image to AWS through this put request. After that, we will like setting the image into our list, and then display this toast, of course. And I'm using Your Own CDN in my application because it was simple to develop an UI, any UI using Your Own CDN. Actually, the authentication is fairly simple. I'm using the credential in here, the default credential. This password is actually I'm generated it through using this tool bcrypt generator. Let's say that I want my password would be 1 to 9, and then yeah, this one, copy this one in using the bcrypt credential in here. And then every time user want to log in, we will find this in the credential file, and then compare the password and then generate the token. For this token, I will set the token in the cookies, and then in 3 days. But we need to have a middleware to validate this token, to verify this token. So this middleware is this one. We will need the verify token, and then yeah, we only need the verify token. So if it's on the login page, if it's not in the login page, it will redirect user to the login page. So that means they didn't have any token. Yes, this one. And then the user actually have token, and then the verify process is succeed. That means the decoder is exist. If the user on a login page, I will redirect to the dashboard page, or if it's not, I will redirect to the login page, and we will run this middleware on all of the dashboard page, and then if user requests this API, and then on the login page. That was fairly simple. Basically, we only need the let's say the get function, and then the upload function, and then the authentication. A simple authentication is enough for this application. Yeah, I think that's what I want to talk to you. And I'm gonna give the GitHub link of this repository on the video description. So I hope that you enjoy this video and find something valuable in it. So have a nice day and happy coding.